Hey there. Today we're talking to Seva Morotskiy from Sibedge. He's been working in the IT industry for over 20 years as a developer, as a project manager, optimizing business processes and doing some work in B2B sales. He's currently a CTO for Sibedge and he's working on their digital strategy. He gives a really good face to the company's technical vision and he presents himself in a very knowledgeable way. His goal is to drive business and find the best and brightest solutions in software engineering. He has specialties in entrepreneurship, software development, cybersecurity, and cloud solutions. Please welcome Seva to Nerds Out of Water.
Hi, Seva. How are you today? Welcome to the Nerds Out of Water.
Hello, David. Hello, Michael. Thank you very much for having me on the podcast. I'm fine. You know, it's a kind of like a good time for talking something related to the technologies.
It is indeed. You're over in Perth, I believe.
Yeah. I'm just living in Perth, but travel a lot. Travel out now. I'm just traveling on my business trip. Hope that COVID is almost done. I hope so, and I can come back without any quarantine measures and stuff like that. Because last year it was a pretty hard to come back, and I had like 2 weeks of hotel quarantine.
Oh,
and when I came back from Europe in the end of 2020.
Yeah, I can well understand that. We had so many people going to quarantine. The hotels were full. Well,
but it's fine. As soon as you have your own laptop, it's not a problem at all. You just go into the room, and after 2 weeks, you just reckon that it's high time to go out. But I remember that from time to time, I went to the window, and there are just a lot of hotels over there, like it's the East Perth. And you can see that many people just put some titles or on the windows, or they're like 1 day left or 2 days left or something like that.
Like a countdown calendar.
Yeah, like a countdown. It was a pretty funny,
So, Seva, you're obviously from sunny Western Australia. So, tell us about who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
So I lived in Australia 5.5 years. I just migrated to Australia from Russia. So my experience, just originally I'm a software developer. I started maybe 24 years ago as a Java developer, and it was a time, it was epoch of monolith. Solid enterprise applications. It was a time of Sun Microsystem. I believe the majority of you gentlemen remember this company. It was a time of Oracle with their very solid, good, and it's still so, by the way, relation database management system. I'm talking about Oracle database, because now Oracle has a lot of services around, and applications. So we developed software for oil and gas companies. For instance, I just was involved in a couple of products related to BP company, a British petroleum company. But I worked for some European subsidiary of British Petroleum. And just for instance, I can give you just an example of what we developed. For instance, we developed like a kind of corporate data bank. It was an intranet system of seismic, geographical information system that's developed, as I told you, for oil company. It was like designed for oil and gas industry that allows oil industry workers store, upload, download, and search different geological hydrodynamic models and results of laboratory research, for instance, in one united repository. And after that, I had some experience developing in C#. It was a time like framework 3.5, as far as you remember, Microsoft released in production, is in a ready-to-go version 6.0 last October. And after .NET Core, so that's it. Now I'm interested in high availability services. in DevOps and in Golang programming language.
Yeah, Golang.
Designed and created by Rob Pike with his team in 2009. Yeah,
and it's a long way from those monolithic, 64,000 line functions.
Exactly. But because one of aspect of my work, I'm getting in touch with the team leaders, with the architects, with the guys who are like on the front line in terms of the technologies. They told me from time to time that now it's a kind of trend to retrospective. Sometimes it's good to design and develop application in the monolith style rather than just to have a microservices that are slightly connected to each other, that can communicate through like a message broker and stuff like that. So it's a long way. It's like another epoch, it seems to me from time to time that this is gonna be another life,
Yeah, I think it always goes cyclically as well. Like it turns from, with databases, it used to be all RDBMS, and now it went to NoSQL, and now it's heading back towards the relational stuff again. So it just happens. It goes around.
Yeah, just one fact, to be on the same page. I studied when there was no mobile industry at all, no devices like iPhone, just Androids, and it was a time when nobody heard about like React framework or just Angular at all. It means like for instance, I can give you an example. Maybe do you remember such technology like Apache Struts? It's web, like version 1, version 2. It was a web application framework to develop, front-end applications. 10 years later, we knew about React, Angular coming after that, and now nobody cares about developing front-end application on the Java technologies. Yeah, you can do that, but what for? It's outdated, in my humble opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, very much. And more recently, you've moved into running your business, and one of the things about you is you're probably one of those rare people who actually know about technology and run a business and be able to communicate between those two parts of your identity. How do you manage that? How do you manage to stay hands-on in technology as well as running a business?
It so happened that we started the business maybe 10-15 years ago. It was the time when I just had my full-time job, and I had a moonlighting, just coming back after home, just go to my computer and just doing something that was interesting for me. And I think that it historically turned out that I was a technical guy, and when I started my own business, I was mostly oriented on the technology. Yeah, of course I have a partner, and he's more about let's say I call it executive stuff. Yeah, he's CEO, and I'm more related to the technology. But it doesn't mean that I'm not involved in the management of the company at all. Yeah. Because as far as you know, CTO has a lot of responsibilities in terms of responsibility for production. He's in charge of technological strategy of the company, talking with the business like a business-related guy, get in touch with end-to-end users, and of course marketing. What actually I'm doing now, just to talk with you. As of course I like it, but it's a kind of part of my job. Yeah. So it means who's a CTO nowadays? What actually nerd out of water, sitting somewhere in the corner and programming, or the guy who's getting in touch with the people, with the business people first of all, trying to find out what the best solution, what the best value for the business. Because technology is awesome, but if you cannot apply it to the real life, it makes no sense, unfortunately.
It makes no sense at all. That's right. So being a CTO, which is usually a more strategic, roadmappy, senior level, do you still get into make your hands dirty? Do you still get in there doing that work?
So it's a very, very interesting question, David. And if you are, because there are two types of CTO. One type is more, especially it's related if your company in terms of engineering capacity more than 100 people. Because I found out in my time that it's going to be 100 people in the company. After that, a lot of transformations coming, everything being changed drastically based on my humble opinion. Because now we have in the company 210 people. And I remember the time 3-4 years ago when we have 100 people or 8 engineers in the house. And it was totally different. I knew everyone, but now it's a company getting, more and more in terms of capacity, and it's a low chance that I can know everyone. So
and everyone's distributed as well these days as well. Since COVID, we've sort of not been in the office together.
David, in my humble opinion, but it doesn't mean that I'm right. Yeah, that it's like a true opinion. I think that if you are a CTO, you have to be you have to be like technical. So it means that from time to time you have to develop some. It doesn't mean that it should be production stuff, but some pet projects, for instance, or something like that makes you happy from the technical point of view. And moreover, it helps you to be like to be aware of what's going on in the industry.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I can give you an example. Yeah, it hypothetically can take a little bit more time rather than for regular developer or DevOps or like the guy from your team. But anyway, you have to be aware of that. It's my humble opinion. But as soon as you are getting, as soon as company growing up, it's pretty hard for you to cover everything. It means, so my humble opinion in current nowadays, this is a time of focus. So you have to be dedicated, focus. As soon as the only way to be technical experience and skilled, to have your own free time to do that. Let's say on weekends.
Yeah.
For example.
So here's a question for you with developers nowadays. As developers are starting to come up and build their skills up, do you think there's any particular business skills that developers need? And I probably come from my own angle because I have a large crowd of developers that interact massively with the business. And I'm interested to know what your thoughts are about developers' skill sets as they come up through the ranks.
Yeah, got it. What you are talking about, David. I can give you an example because I'm just getting in touch with our HR department. And first of all, we have a team of HRs. We have a team of HR recruitment team. Usually we hire approximately 60-70 people per year. Can you suggest, like a funnel or the guys come in and then we have to interview them, to talk with them, just to set up what their hard skills, soft skills. So you mentioned so-called soft skills, yeah? I believe that nowadays is very important because the reality is that the majority of teams getting remote. So they're working remotely, not like it was before 2019 at the same office. But moreover, I believe many international companies, they have offices throughout the world, not only in Australia, for instance. They can easily have an office in, let's say, in Europe or in the United States. And it's not about engineering. It's about different types of specialists, marketing, sales guys, pre-sales team, the guys who are doing prototypes, so-called R&D team, the guys who are in charge of maintain and support your service, DevOps, SRE, engineering, or let's say QA guys. They are from another planet. They have their own algorithm of behavior and what they should do that they shouldn't do. So it means, I believe that the most valuable thing nowadays, of course, not just excluding hard skills, because hard skills must have you have to be appropriate in terms of your soft skills, in terms of communication, in terms of listening to other people, in terms of be effective and productive, in terms of distribution team. And by the way, I heard about another type of skills. It's a kind of like so-called digital skills. Have no idea what it's about, but I think it's somewhere in the middle. Because to looking for some information, to pick it up properly, to extract, when you are able to filter in information going from you and just pick it up particular portion information what you actually need for your job, for your work, is a very, very on the great demand at the moment, in my humble opinion.
So do you mean when you say, sorry?
It's surprising how many people I know who can't use Google properly. They'll use Google and they'll come up with something that I just, how did you even find that? But then you go to, I mean, for most of us, especially since we've been in the technology industry, we get so used to filtering out all of the junk that we don't need and refining that Google query to get a better result. And I think that there's some people who, I think that's where the digital skills come in. It's not just about what queries you put in, but also how you filter those results out in your head as you're reading through them. So that when you get to the 10th page of Google, you're going, there it is. That's the bit of information I was after.
Yeah, this is why I like Stack Overflow a lot.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you've got digital experience skills. So trying to explain what you're developing is going to turn into a digital experience for your customer, to the end user, so that they can see and be able to translate a business use of what you're developing.
You mean just giving you an example of digital skills of the developers, transferring to the business side, you mean?
Yep, that's correct. So digital experience.
Yeah, I can explain. At the moment, as soon as you start developing any product, it does from fintech, from edtech, let's say something like banking service. The most important thing, what actually business says, that guys, I want this stuff to be implemented, but I have no idea. I can give you only rough just idea. What about the details? It's your job to dig into. To put here some system analyst, business analyst, product manager to come up, just to sort it out and so on. And depending on the communication in your team, based on digital experience as well. For instance, you have just giving you an example, yeah? Let's say pretty simple thing in terms of sign up or login, It seems to me this form it's pretty clear, not rocket science at all. But usual developer can implement it by the way of, let's say, standard basic authorization. Yes, login is going to be email or just some nickname and password, and not thinking about what about so-called OAuth, third-party authorization through Google, through Facebook, through GitHub account, like so. And moreover, let's say regarding restoring the password that you forgot for some reasons as well. Yeah. So something that's what we call actual digital experience. So this guy, even if he doesn't know at all about this stuff, he can go to the system analyst, have a talk, just have just a couple of description, let's say functional requirements or the tickets, or think about that in advance. So I call it so-called neuroplasticity. Yeah, when you can just jump in, jump out in a different situation and try to put yourself like walking in the shoes of the client. Because actually business pays money and business wants, guys, I have an issue, let's sort it out. And while you are digging deeper into the issue from the technical point of view, let me know and I will give you a little bit more details, because now I have no idea. I only have only rough requirements. I have, let's say, payment gateway. Yeah, but the question is, what about, we are talking only about fiat currency? What about crypto? What about some intermediate bridges when we are talking about payment gateway? It should be internal only in Australia, and we are okay with the international wiring as well. Yeah. What about anti-fraud?
And so how do we deal with things like where the bank doesn't release funds immediately, or when they need to do third-party verifications and things like that? There's all these questions that if people are asking during that stage of the business, then they can come back to their product owners and say, well, there's these questions that I need answered. What do you think?
Yeah, so this is I believe I have no idea why, because I actually believe in higher education. But sometimes Google and Facebook for the last 5 years, they just announce, guys, we don't care about your education. Please show us your GitHub profile, and giving us some practical experience just in terms of you. That's it. And I think that hard skills not a problem at all. Guys, you cannot imagine how many educational courses on the market. Just open YouTube and Python in 5 hours, or just sort of and here we go. But I think that the most critical for developer, from a hard skill, soft skill perspective, and especially in digital perspective, to be able to be able to get information fast and extract the required information you need, and do it systematically, one by one chapter by another one. So I think, and have some to be smart generally, because if you are not aware what is, for instance, virtual instructor in a C++, it's not a problem at all. You will Google it immediately. Just write down a couple of methods, and here we go. To compile it, to execute it, and you will understand it immediately. Just having some exceptions, but after that you are good to go.
Yeah.
Rather than you have no idea what virtual instructor at all. For instance, if we are talking about C++ development.
Yeah. And Seva, you mentioned something just then about qualifications and going through universities and courses and things. We interviewed a couple of university students who told us their views and thoughts on where universities and courses will be in 5 and 10 years. Where do you think university courses will be in 5 to 10 years?
Oh, David, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to predict.
That's just an open thought.
It's pretty hard to predict. I can tell you definitely that what I see now, because we have a couple of the clients in terms of e-learning, in terms of ed tech, business domain, I see that it's definitely the future. But I think the truth is all the time somewhere in the middle. Courses are great. For instance, related to me, I'm just using Udemy. I'm using Code Guru. I'm just a lot of platforms in terms of educational video streaming and stuff like that, and doing some practical exercises. But at the same time, I think that you need classic university education as well. Because it was around maybe 25 years ago, maybe more. Let me calculate. Yeah, exactly. I just figured out 25 years ago. It was a first lesson or just first session in my university. I was I just came to the university first session, and the head of the faculty I studied at that time, he said, guys, our purpose or our target, not giving you specific domain knowledge, or just making from a lot of you, let's say, mathematicians or program makers, or let's say the guys from industrial related specialists. Yes. The purpose of university to give you approach, to give you technology, to give you a framework how you can study yourself. Yeah. So our task roughly is to teach you to study yourself.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
Yeah, so turning up your brains. Turning up like in the music, when you set it up your voice, here we are doing the same, but not with your voice, with your brain. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, when I first went to university, my very first lecture was bricklaying. And I had to learn to use AutoCAD 1. And AutoCAD 1, it was in December, would be about 1982, so a few years ago. And it's quite a while ago, that was.
Yeah.
And that was on my way to be an engineer.
Awesome. Yeah.
Somehow.
Seva, one of the things that you've mentioned to me before is that you and your team contribute to open source projects, which I think is another element to that educational side of things where, you're giving back to the community. How important do you think that is, and why do you do that?
I think, it's very important. I can give you an example, just roughly showing you 3 ways. or just branches or the direction we are contributing in terms of open source community. So one of them is a kind of like a product. It's more related to network security. Yeah, it's like a VPN-based platform when you can deploy your own node, a VPN node, and the code is absolutely open. It's called VPN House. Just Google it in GitHub, and you can download it, set it up. You have your own web application interface to set it up properly, to set up peers or whatever. Later, I can share with link to you if you wish. And the first product in terms of open source we are contributing. It's so called a backend for front end, or I call it like a low code backend.
Okay.
When you when you let's say adding some new class or adding new, let's say object to your system. Let's say you have a wallet after what you decided roughly to add book or just table, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't need to programming new operations in terms of adding, removing, or updating. It happens automatically. It's a PLv8 based framework. It's a kind of like JavaScript extension for Postgres database. And so we just developed it, and again, everything is free. We are just building our own Docker images, pull it to the Docker Hub. Everyone can download it. Moreover, we open up the source code, no problem at all. Mm-hmm. And the last but not least, I call it data engineering platform for so-called ETL operations. Yeah, extract, transfer, loading. Again, this is like a connection of Spark, Apache Spark, Apache Airflow, Jupyter notebooks, and so on. Yeah. Again, we are gathering in as something one. Just pull it over to the Docker Hub, and I think the most important to contribute something back. I mean, because there are so many good solutions on the market. Originally, they're open source, and that's it. I think if you are involved in for instance, have a look at the majority of software development company. They have their own projects, open source projects, for instance, if I'm not mistaken, the most popular login system, like a logger in Golang, this is ZAP, developed and maintained and supported by Uber, for instance. Good solution, and just a lot of frameworks. Let's say Vue.js, open source as well. And you can have a look.
Anything like that is come out of some of the major companies that need that solution anyway. And I'm guessing that's the same as you. You use your own solutions when you use your own open source solutions when you're building a solution for a client, so that you can get things done quicker.
Because there are so many commercial software on the market, sometimes you don't need to pay a lot to have some end-to-end solution. All you need to go to the GitHub, Google it, and gather in one appropriate customized solution for you. And it's kind of like more about reusing something already on the market and not spending a lot of time. Because especially if you are early bird in terms of startup, or you don't have just a lot of funds or just money to go ahead. So all you need, investigate the market, have a look, grab something from the market, gather it properly, and here we go. And moreover, if people see that everything is open and they use it, in their commercial industry or just application, let's say, it's good to know that everything open. You can investigate the issue, dig into, find some mistakes or errors, just publish. That's it. Or moreover, you can even have a feature request, if you know what I'm talking about. It's a pretty funny. For instance, guys, it's an awesome library, but I would like to have. What do you think about that? And if a community says it's a good point, can we have a next release? Yeah,
exactly. And
so how do you?
If it is a good release and if it is a good feature, then people will pitch in to help build it as well.
Yeah. I'm just totally agree with you. Moreover, many people self-motivated. Making money is good, but we need to leave something after us. We need to share it. It's a very trendy now in all over the world, so-called sharing philosophy, Like, so that's it. This is like about it, I believe.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you stay up to date? You are talking about so many different frameworks, so many different technologies. How do you stay up to date with these as the market is changing so quickly?
Well, so like I believe that there are some like let's call it sources that every CTO has to read regularly. I cannot say that I follow this advice. Unfortunately, like everyday routine, you're overloaded. You have a lot of deadlines. You have to do this. You have to do that, and trying to meet expectations of other people. And actually, I'm just crazy about that. I'm just pissed off sometimes because if I promise something, I have to do that. And this is an issue because people are disappointed, frustrated. Oh, you just promised, but you just failed miserably, whatever. So I think, David, the question is that you have to be dedicated in some industry. Let's say you are interested in blockchain technology, yeah. You have a passion in terms of something decentralized, yeah. Like I'm talking about depots. I'm talking about, let's say, I'm talking about DeFi, for instance, decentralized financial.
Yep.
And cryptocurrency as well. So it means that you have to find the appropriate resources. Some trendy guys who specify the trends for the industry and follow with them. But I believe that you need to have 3-4 sources. Because you need to compare the information you are getting all the time, and sometimes I'm just subscribed deliberately for a couple of even competitors, looking at one side and another side, and I believe somewhere in the middle what actually they meant when they fighted to each other, for instance. And regarding to the specific links, I can tell you, I like D-Zone website. I like Hacker News from Y Combinator. I like there are a couple of platforms as well. Actually, RSS, RSS. You can,
RSS,
it's a lot of Friedly, for instance, as a client, pretty good. Friedly, if I'm not mistaken.
Were you a big Google Reader fan back in the day? I used to use Google Reader all the time for my RSS feeds, and now I'm like, when it stopped working, I was lost for a couple of weeks until I had to find someone or something.
Yeah, and of course you need to specify first what you're interested in. Let's say network security, or you are crazy about Java at all. Let's say James Gosling, he left Java many years ago, but what he's doing now, he's developing specific domain software for the robots, for just doing research on the oceans. For instance, or just if you are to fall in love with Python, for instance, it's just another story, So and of course, and this is very important. Just another story from the previous life, from my university years. One of my teacher, just after the lecture, he mentioned, guys, how scientists keep alive. Sometimes they are digging into their own tunnel, for instance, they just pick up some theme and they are doing research only in this direction. But they need to get out of their tunnel from time to time and have a look what's happening around them. This is what they actually do on the conferences, or where they can communicate, when they can learn something from other people. And I believe that you need to have a look what's going on in the industry you are interested in, and talking with the people as well. This is why I believe you need to, if even you are not able to go yourself physically to some events, you need to watch it from time to time. A lot of videos, not problem at all. You can subscribe for video content, and
there are amazing number of videos out there for everything.
But a lot of noise, David.
A lot of noise
as well.
Sorting through that noise is always a skill set that I think is really important. You can go very technical on this if you want, or maybe not. Maybe you've got a really interesting story. But what's one of the most interesting problems you've ever had to solve? Like a big curveball or something that you've really that you've really sunk your teeth into and found a unique solution to?
We are still trying to find the solution. I think that two topical things I'm just working on at the moment. One of them, this is kind of like, let's call it network connection. I want to provide. So, for instance, let's hypothetically think that you have a long connection. Let's say from Sydney to New York. Yeah, it's if you have a look in terms of connection time, how many milliseconds you need for that. It's like 75, 100 milliseconds.
Yep.
But let's say let's say if you can cut it off. Let's say cut it up, and instead of one long connection, you will have a two short connections. Yeah. This is like what we know as a task of optimization of the connection. Yeah. And now at the moment it's so-called it's involved two technologies, XDP and another one eBPF, like Berkeley packet sockets.
Yep.
And this is where we are working at the moment, optimize the connection, time of connection, because sometimes even having VPN, you can have a better speed rather than you connect directly from one host to another one. And thanks to that, you will have two benefits. You have a quicker connection time, and at the same time, all your traffic encrypted, secure at all. And like maybe you heard about very popular trendy things now. It's called SASE, Secure Access Service Edge. When you are moving from your data, when you're moving so-called security groups and connection, when you make it secure, but not from the data center, you move it to some edge, let's say some cloud or whatever. If you have a REST or something like that, you have like sterile zones in your like home network or in your work office, and you have to have it in one network, but secure absolutely, but keep it secure and so on. And this is another task, but it's a very trendy, like zero trust network or zero trust, secure SASE, and so on and so on. We want to find somewhere in the middle. And another task, this is more about data engineering task. I want to create appropriate stuff in terms of to give to the market good, solid, and reasonable in terms of the price as a one package to have a chance to set it up and use Spark, use Apache Airflow, Ready Job Runner, use some S3 related buckets. Yeah. And not spend a lot of time for developing, for DevOps, because it costs like a lot. Like it costs like arms and legs, and this is where we're working on the moment. And it's not problem to develop. The problem is to make it available for the market. I believe, gentlemen, you heard. I'm trying to remember. I believe you heard about Gartner hypercycle research methodology. Different cycles of the technology, where the technology lives. I mean, how technology lives. It's a kind of like a technology trigger is the first stage. Another one, a second stage is a kind of peak of inflated expectations when everyone excited. Oh, it's new technology coming. We'll use it definitely, and we'll make a lot of money, and we'll sort out all issues we have. Another stage, trough of disillumination is illusionment. Sorry, trough of disillusionment, and after that, slope of enlightenment, and last but not least, plateau of productivity. So my task really, if we pick up some technology, to predict where's this particular plateau of productivity, because maybe technology is not ready to use, maybe it's not ready to go in production at the moment, but we have to be aware of this technology and come back to the stuff in 2, 3, 5 years, whatever. So I think this is the most challengeable task, like to bring something technical, something related to the technology, to the business, and make it work. Because sometimes you spend a lot of money, spend a lot of time, thousands of hours for nothing, and you can see that's not applicable at all. The market is not ready to pay for that.
That's right, and yet somewhere in the future they're going to say, we wish we had this earlier, and And in most cases, someone already has thought of it and already done that.
Just giving you just an example, because as you requested, for instance, we have a platform of for creation of so-called virtual assistant. We know that as a chatbot. I believe that everyone is disappointed with chatbots at the moment, but you will laugh at. But slowly but surely, it's a kind of going to the plateau of productivity. Because have a look of your experience working with some banking software. When you need something urgently, you usually type in some message, just drop a type, and you don't want to give a call or whatever. Maybe some legit guys still just having a call to the call center, go to the bank themselves. But I believe it's time of and here immediately technology, what we know as a NLU or NIR popping up. I mean like some deep learning algorithms or models that help machine to understand what did you mean specifically, what your intention was, and after that giving you the answer or just forward you to some concrete specialist that can help you out with that. And we reckon that we went through a lot of models started from machine learning, after that slowly but surely go into deep learning. And we just picked it up like before Elmo model. After we decided to use the so-called BERT, B-E-R-T model, it's a kind of model transformers. Just after 2018, 2019, they are just developing by the community all the time. So it's a pretty good. And you can just teach it properly for the specific language, Mandarin, English, or just Hindi, whatever you want. And by the way, based on some domain specific like stuff, for instance, like call center or just like FAQ for your website.
And is this available now? Is this something you've got available now?
Yeah. I think it's in my hand, but it's still going. But it has to be reasonable in terms of the price and to sort it out your specific pain. Because now it's like a lot of communication in terms of support and maintain all the time. It means you have to get automated somehow. And like having some chatbot, have a look any website. You will see that widget on the right side. You can just drop the message. I've got
one right in front of me now.
So that's it how it works. And we found out that we are still doing research there. We develop, and as soon as you are dig deeper into some specific domain, you understand. Okay, it works, but this part we still don't have implemented. We need to pay attention to that, and after that, slowly but surely. This is why the decent app can be developed not just by 1 year or only 1 year. I think it's a pretty long-term cycle, minimum 3-5 years. What I believe. Maybe first version as an MVP or POC. It's good.
You've got to try and get your MVP out as soon as you can, and then start building on that, which does take its time. Okay, we have 3 questions that we ask all of our people who come on, and it's really intriguing some of the answers we get to these questions. So I'll just fire them off. Would you do anything differently if you had a chance? Looking at your career, looking at where you've come from, what would you do differently?
I think it's not a motto. I'm not just call people to repeat or to do the same, but I think I should leave oil and gas industry earlier, not because I didn't like it or I did something wrong, because I should start just some product, a development product earlier, or not even start, like check the hypothesis, check the ideas earlier. Because I just spent around 13 years for enterprise. It's very interesting. It was very exciting and challengeable all the time. But I wish I would have a chance to start earlier in terms of like developing our own software solutions and products. And
So let's say you didn't step into that Java learning all those years ago. Let's say you missed all of that. So you weren't doing what you're doing now. What would you be doing? What was your other career path? Did you have one?
Interesting. It's a very interesting question. I would say that, based on my high education, I'm a mathematician, and my specialty is computer security. So I'm not far away what actually originally I had to do, but by the maths method, just a lot of maths and stuff like that. I would say I've never thought about that, to be honest. But I can tell you that when I was young, maybe 3, 4, or 5 years old, I wanted to be a spaceman. And David,
a spaceman.
Exactly. And I still
Nice.
think.
Yeah.
I think, David, if I had a chance, and let's say it's pretty hard to talk in a conditional sentence, but I wanted to be involved in a space industry, not only just to be a spaceman, but there are a lot of interesting and challengeable stuff in terms of technology, in terms of hardware. Because I believe that the purpose of the human beings as a mission to travel out and to explore the other worlds. This is my humble opinion.
Wow.
Maybe it looks a little bit strange, and someone
Looks exciting.
and someone think I'm real nerd or stuff like that. I'm fine with that, but I think that we need to develop our brain, our ability to learn more and more, to open new technologies and go further in terms of that. Plus, we need to travel out and exploring, not invading. Pay attention, exploring. Because we have no idea what's going on even on the moon, guys. To be honest, don't want to jump into the conspiracy stuff like that, but actually, we have no idea.
No, we wouldn't want to jump into the conspiracy stuff and ask you, do you think we've actually been visited?
400,000 kilometers away, only the moon. What about Mars? What about other planets?
We're going to find out.
Anniversary, yeah. So I think we need to travel out, exploring other planets. And I wish I would have a chance to jump into this particular business, in this particular activity, if I had a chance. So answering your question, David, I wanted to be involved in a space industry.
It leads really well into our last question, which is, do you have any predictions for the future of technology?
There are so many trends now, and look at the Meta company. I mean, Facebook. Look at other guys like Elon Musk, who's a trendy guy, who's let's say newsmakers, newsmaker in terms of the technology.
You just like him because he's got a spaceship.
Yeah, it's a long story, David. I believe I burn out all the time we have, so this is why I just stop here in terms of further talking about Elon. But he's a great guy anyway. He showed other world that if you are a dreamer, you can have a try. You have to try, to be honest. So I think that technology. Michael, I think that trends for the future, the technology is going to be on the edge between different branches and different industries of our life. Let's say chemistry industry and IT, medicine and IT, space again and IT, and stuff like that. Maybe IT going to be called a little bit different in the future. Moreover, I think look at the new type of interfaces related to the brain and so on and so on. It's very fascinating if you have a look in detail.
Yep.
And I think this is the future. So definitely, it does mean you have to be a program maker. It means that medicine, space industry, chemistry definitely, and industry in a common understanding. It's still on demand. Because again, guys, we need to travel out and explore on the other worlds. Otherwise, we're stuck into the planet, and I don't think we have a future, unfortunately. Yeah. It's not like my specific opinion. This is like what the greatest scientists from the future century talk a lot,
Yeah, agree.
That's amazing, Seva. Thank you.
Yeah, Seva, it's been wonderful to talk to you. It's been really interesting to learn about where you've come from and what you see into the future. And I hope we can continue that conversation sometime over a beer.
Gentlemen, really, thank you very much for the invitation. Appreciate that. It was really, really interesting discussion. And I think that we'll proceed in the future. No worries at all.
Yeah, we'll have to start talking about USB quantum computing.
Yeah.
Back into the back of the neck.
Maybe.
Nice.
We'll see. Time will tell. But as I told you, 5 cycles for the technology development.
Yeah, it won't be mainstream immediately.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.